Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Marvelous Monday. I'm Leslie Watkins. Oops, sorry, pushing buttons here. Let's get the right ones. There we go. So there's a lot going on this month of May 2022, and I just want to share a few things with you before I have something, a special technique that I want to show you. So first of all, I'm sure you know by now we've got a brand new annual catalog that's come out from Stampin' Up! But what you may not know is that there is a really special starter kit add-on that is a bonus. It's really quite a lot of stuff actually. So basically, in the back of the catalog, you'll see that we have all these color families. And these color families relate to all of the inks, the cardstocks, markers, blends, and an assortment of designer series papers are created using these various color families, as well as ribbons and trims, and also all kinds of embellishments. So the special that's called the In Color Starter Kit is pretty remarkable because we have throughout the year a really great deal on getting a starter kit when you join Stampin' Up! And you can join the Dandelion Cottage design team. And I would love to have you. I'll talk more about that in just a minute. But first, I just want to make this very clear to you because the starter kit typically is a selection of items, anything at all, in the book here that add up to $125 worth of product. And in your starter kit, you can get all of that $125 worth of product for only $99 and get free shipping. You also get a lot of other little goodies in your starter kit that are very nice. And there's a lot of benefits. So for instance, you have 20% off of all of your future purchases from Stampin' Up! For the next 3 months, even if you decide that you don't want to continue. There are no strings attached, absolutely no obligations. This is just a great way for you to find out if stamping is something that you'd like to do. And as I'm going to show you in a few minutes, you can do so much more than just stamping with the products that you can find in here. So that in and of itself is a fantastic deal. But what's happening in May, so just until the 31st, the end of May, you're also going to be able to get a complete set of the In Color cardstocks, inks, and papers. So for instance, here are the new In Colors. Okay, so you get all of these. So there's 5 of them. You will get a matching ink pad that corresponds to each one of these colors. So you'll get 5 ink pads. You'll also get a pack of all of this cardstock that has each of these colors represented in it. I think it's 4 sheets of 8.5 by 11 each of this cardstock. You also will get a In Color grid paper, which I don't have, but it looks something like this. So it's just a nice piece of grid paper that you can put on your surface to work on, except that the one that's included in the deal here features these beautiful colors. So all those 5 colors will be represented on the grid paper. And you get a full pack of the 6x6 designer series paper assortment, which is very pretty. So if I remember correctly, when you add up all of these additional items, it's somewhere between 60 and 65, maybe even a little bit more, of free product if you sign up now before May 31st. And the other wonderful part of signing up now, or actually anytime, is that you also become a member of the Dandelion Cottage design team. And you can go to my website at Dandelion Cottage Design and click on the join button. And there's a lot more information there about all of the benefits that you get from both me and from Stampin' Up. So, for example, each month I present the watercolor card club, and we paint a different floral image or natural image, and you would become a member of that for free. I also present card making classes, and each month you would get an invitation to participate with that. So there's a lot more than just what's on the surface here, and more than what I'm going to talk with you about today. But if you're interested in any of these things, please visit my website and sign up for notes from Dandelion Cottage Design, because I will be sending out notifications with all sorts of special deals and upcoming classes and events, and you won't want to miss that. So please sign up for notes. All right, so that's the business end of stuff that I wanted to share with you today, because I think this is really a spectacular deal and I don't want you to miss it. So let me just put these things aside for now. And today, what I want to do is I want to share with you a way that you can use your inks in a way that you may not have tried before. So to do this, I've selected the new in color called Starry Sky, which I like very much. And I have already prepared a card base, and this is the very vanilla thick, and this measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I have a matching envelope, and then I've cut out a couple of mats, and the card is going to come together something like this, but I have an added surprise for you today. And for that, I'm using the shimmery white paper, and I'm going to paint on this using the inks. So what I've done here is I've just taken my re-inker and I've put a couple of drops in the lid of my stamp pad. And I have a water painter here, and all of the things that I'm using today I will list below, and any of these things can be used in your starter kit. So if you think you might want to join up and be able to get these products at a great, and these products, by the way, are top quality. Okay, they're really beautiful papers, great adhesives, terrific tools. So everything that you see me use is available to get in your starter kit. So just keep that in mind, because that will give you that additional 60 some odd dollars in the in color products, and I don't want you to miss that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little picture. So I'm adding some water to my ink here, And this ink is all water-based ink, so it acts just like watercolor. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit so you can see better. Okay, and I'm just going to do a little scene here. I'm just going to put a sky, okay, and a little ground plane. We could have some trees. It's going to indicate some trees, and it'll be a kind of a classically designed sort of bucolic scene. Here we go. All right, so very simple. Just letting the ink move where it will. All right, now the interesting thing that I want to share with you today that I've been experimenting with is I've got a couple of pens. These are dip pens. So one of them has a very flexible pointed nib, and the other one has a broad point nib. And I also have, let me show you my little cup here. So I've got more of that Starry Sky ink in a little cup off to the side to dip my pen into. And I'm gonna actually put this one aside for a minute to let that dry a little bit. And while that's drying, I'm gonna get a scrap. So, got a couple of little scraps here. You probably have loads of these in your studio. And I'm going to begin with my pointed nib. And I'm just going to create a sentiment here. So I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper. Just want to test. Okay, that seems pretty good. So let's say, for instance, I wanted to do a thank you. So I could just thank and get some more ink. All right, so I can make my own little sentiments just using a dip pen, like so. So that works pretty well. Let's try the broad point pen. And for this, let me get this under the camera so you can see without getting my head under the camera. Yeah, that's a little crooked. Let's try again. Hello. Put that aside to dry. I'm going to go back to my little scene here. And this time I'm going to add some details with my pointed pen. So I can sketch in, and it doesn't matter which you start with. If you wanted to start your sketch with your pen, you could do that as well. So I'm just going to add some grasses, some tree roots, some leaf shapes. Just a little monochromatic design. And let's say we're let's see, what do we do? How about we put a fisherman in here? Father's Day is coming up. You may have some fishermen in your life. So what if we put a little boat? There we go. And we can have our figure in the boat with a fishing pole. Add some waves. Okay, so in just a couple of minutes you could have a very sweet little scene. That's a combination of painting with your brush. And where is my brush? I think what I want to do is I want to add some clouds. So I'm going to pick up a little more ink and add some clouds over here. So there's a little something happening on this side of the card. There we go. So there's a sweet little scene, and if you want, you could add a hill in the background. And you're off and running. So there we go, our little fisherman happy in his boat at the lake. Now that we've got that, I'm just going to put the lid on my ink here so we don't get ink all over the place. Let's assemble a card. All right, so we've got some sentiments. Now what I want to do is mount my painting. I'm just checking. It looks pretty dry. It's probably a little bit damp, but I think it'll be fine. I'm just going to add a little bit of my liquid glue to the back of my cardstock. This is the shimmery white paper, by the way. Check that that's nice and straight on there. It looks pretty good. Now the design that I saw this did not give credit, unfortunately, to whomever it was that that thought of this idea. And I recommend that anytime you do share an idea, that you do give credit to the designer. Unfortunately, I cannot. I saw this on a Facebook group, and they did not list the person that came up with this, but I thought it was really cute. And it's just this little sort of torn card effect. So I'm going to tear out a portion of my paper like so, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap this around something. So let's see, what do I have here? I've got a pencil. Just going to curl this up like a sardine can. We don't need all this extra bulk, so I'm just gonna remove a portion of that. We have an expression in the paper crafting world. It's called casing, and that stands for copy and share everything. But I would take that a step further and say that it's always great to give credit where credit's due. And I'm just sorry that I'm not able to do that this time, because I thought it was a very cute idea. Okay, so there's my little scene peeking out. Now I'm going to grab a glue dot. I see Abby says Stampin' Up! Had a calligraphy kit a few years ago. Really, Abby? That's so interesting. I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know. I wish I could have seen it. It was obviously before I became a demo with Stampin' Up! So I just celebrated my 5-year anniversary, so that must have been some time ago. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm just tightening up my curl here, and I'm just going to add, this is my glue dot. Okay, so I have my glue dot on the end of my paper piercer here, and I'm just going to tuck that underneath there. And I'm going to add another one for good measure. Here we go. And now our sentiments. So let's see. I've got some scrap paper here. That'll work. I think I'm going to put that on dimensionals. Oh, before I put that on, let's just mount that on my card base. There we go. So I thought that was pretty cute, the idea of having an image peek out from underneath this torn edge, like so. Let's clean this up. I've got one more thing to show you. So there's my first card. I also took a stamped image from one of the stamp sets and I painted it in with the ink just as I did this one, but this time I went over the top of the image with my little pointed pen and I added some details. So I added a serrated edge to the leaves so that they looked a little more like roses. I'll give you a close-up of that. And I have a card base here where I've combined the Starry Night in color with the Orchid Oasis. And I thought that that came together very nicely. So for this card, I have some scraps here. So that's going to fit on there pretty well. So just snip that. Add a little bit of glue. And this is kind of tiny, so I think I'm going to grab my tweezers for this one. Get that right side up. And this could go either way. So maybe something like that. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you today. The idea that you could use your reinkers, your water-based inks, with different things than just your stamp set. So you can use it with a broad point pen, a pointed pen, your brushes, or in combination with the stamps. So I hope that gives you some ideas. I'd love to see what you do. We have a group here for people that follow my Facebook page. It's called Paper Pals, Dandelion Paper Pals. You're all invited to join, and on that page you can share the designs that you come up with, and I'd love to see what you do. So please find that. I'll put a link below. You have to make sure that you're following this page, Dandelion Cottage Design, and then I'll be able to invite you into the group. If anybody has any questions about joining and what you might want to get in your starter kit, I'd be happy to help you. Just send me a message, and stay tuned for Wednesday when we have Watercolor Wednesday right here at 12 noon. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time.